What's going on? All right. Um, I just wanted to record this pretty much just for myself, uh, but I laid it all out here in Discord over these three charts that I did. Um, Starting from this one was basically just to show you that, uh, to show how you could have caught. Well, this was to explain the market maker model we're in. This was to show. You actually could have seen this coming. Uh, I didn't because I wasn't on my ICT charts at the time that it happened. Um, but it was rather predictable and could have been caught. Um, but starting from this one where I tagged everyone, I pretty much explained my thoughts on what's going to happen. So I wanted to record this video uh, just to have it in the library in case things work out the way that I'm expecting them to. Um, because there is a level of ICT thinking that I believe you can very accurately predict where price is going to go and in which direction it is moving so that you can keep a very high win rate. Um, Things really started to click for me uh, the more I watch Ali Khan's videos. He is very, very good uh, at putting all of this together. Casper did me a great favor in getting me to look at one thing at a time and trade off that. But, and it's a profitable system. It really is. But I think to actually be able to catch these really big moves, uh, or at least constantly know which way price is headed. Because right now, I mean, we could be at the top of the market maker model, right? Um, but the top is actually all the way up here. But do we get all the way up there before reversing back down, right? So everything I've learned about ICT can now kind of come together, and it's pretty freaking cool. Um, to see it happen. So here's my thoughts. We've got a lot of overhead resistance on the 4 hour. Um, the 0.75 quad, because we're now in between the 5.0 and the 7.5. The 0.75 quad lines up pretty much right on the midline of this inverted fair value gap. This is the red block with the border. And the uh, midline of the overall 4 hour fair value gap, which is this red box with no border. This white box, let me just go to the 4 hour, it'd be a little bit easier to see. Okay, so this is the 4 hour fair value gap. This is the inverted fair value gap that was created when this fair value gap was made. This is our order block sitting above it that created the fair value gap, and this is a breaker block that is down on the bottom quadrant of the fair value gap. So there's a lot of ways that this could go. Um, what I don't want to see is any more fair value gaps made. Um, we could touch the breaker block and drop back since we've swiped these highs right here. This was a 4-hour swing high. We made a new 4-hour swing high as long as this candle closes below it. We could swipe that 4-hour, hit the breaker block, and drop back down into here. Um, and if we take, this could be interesting. Let's just see where this lines up. If we look at premium and discount of this quadrant, we just hit into premium pricing when we took this high. Okay, that is the 50% mark of this quadrant. All right, we could, take higher pricing and get into some of this resistance before falling back over. It's possible we don't take this high. We've gone into premium pricing. Maybe we come back down and hit this 15-minute fair value gap. The purple is 15-minute fair value gaps. And actually, that is an inverted fair value gap. If they have borders, they're inverted. If they don't have borders, they are regular fair value gaps. So this is the regular fair value gap. We could come back down and rebalance. Uh, well, I shouldn't say that because an inverted fair value gap is already rebalanced a fair value gap to the left of it. So interesting. Do we fall off? We've retested that premium pricing and bounced off of it again so far, but we have gotten into it. So at some point, I am looking for price to get to this quadrant. My A+++ setup would be to take a short off of this area. Okay. To come back into this 4-hour fair value gap, more than likely looking for it to either hold the inverted and leave this there. That would give me a really good indication of higher pricing to get back above the 7.5. Now, this 15-minute inverted is also sitting right at the 0.50. So if we do pull back from premium pricing here, we could just fall into back down to the 5.0 on the quads, which is this inverted 15, and then push up into the 7.5. One way or the other, I am looking to get to the 7.5. I am really not interested in any trades until we either get there or we come back and test this inverted and the midline holds and we start to reverse off of that. Then I would be looking for longs all the way up to the 7.5. You know, ideally, I would love for price to hit the breaker block first, and then pull back to here, and then go up to the 7.5, and then reverse and come back down for a 6.2 fib retracement. Because if we look at um, from the displacement started right here, if we pull a fib up to the 7.5 and we look at the 6.2 retrace, I don't know why I always have to do it twice, then the 5.0 is sitting right at the bottom of this inverted, right at the top of this 15-minute fair value gap. The 6.2 is right at the midline of that fair value gap. That is where I would love to see price, if we reverse from the 7.2 for our first pullback. Um, I'm going to be very interested in a trade down here to then go up and break the 7.5, maybe order block, then come back down, blah 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 blah. These are my AA infinity plus areas where I want to take a trade. I want to be going short from this here, the 7.5 quad. Um, and if you like, God, that fib, where did I place that fib? Oh yeah. Yeah, okay, let's place it here. Oh, it's still beautiful. Look at that. Okay, so if we pull back from there, here's your 5.0. Your 6.2 is sitting right there. The 7.0 is right at that midline. I would love to go long from here. Okay. Um, and if that, if we bounce off of this 7.5 at these midlines, and we retrace to the 6.2, and we bounce off of that, the target is this order block and this 4-hour swing level at the top of it. But the 2.7 is right there. I would probably be taking profit at the midline because especially the first touch of that midline, we're probably going to pull back a good bit before going up, or we just range in there until it finally breaks through and hits the 2.7. So, I mean, that's a lot of price action, a lot of tradable price action. So we're going to be watching the 15-minute market maker model, see what area we hit, and we've hit our first one. We've gone into premium pricings of this quadrant. Okay, so at any time, um, that 15-minute market maker model could go sell side. Uh, when it does, I want to be trading down into one of these areas again. Well, we got we got a 4-hour fair value gap here. Okay, that works. I like that. Would like to come back and retest this fair value gap, push up into this area, and then fall back, which will probably invert that one, come back to at least the 5.0 before going up to the 7.5, and then back down and then back up. This is why I'm saying I'm kind of expecting some 4-hour ranging action here. Um, because we just made that huge displacement on the 4-hour in one day, actually like in 15 minutes or less. Um, so I would really like to see the 4-hour range for a little while and kind of get some uh, liquidity built up one side or the other, and then use everything I have available to find the manipulation of that 4 hour range for some 4 hour displacement or the next 4 hour displacement that could happen, which could either be, all the way back up uh, to this, right, to complete the 4 hour market maker model and possibly even push towards all-time highs again, or hit that and, you know, go sell side. So kind of watching, kind of watching. But I would really like to see us range a little bit here, which is very possible since, we had we had a good range going over here. Seemed like, fair trade was going on for a little while over here for a couple of days. So I'd like to see the same thing on this side and then find that manipulation uh, for further displacement. Okay. Um, so yeah, that's my thoughts. Let's see over the next few days or weeks. Uh, I would say sometime next week probably. But for the last part of this week, unless we've got some really huge news coming out tomorrow, let's see, what do we got coming out tomorrow? Ooh, that was today. That's why that happened. Ain't that some shit? I thought we had CPI this week. Then Thursday, retail sales, unemployment claims, that could move the market a little bit. I don't know if retail sales is really gonna move much, but unemployment could. All that comes out at 8:30. We'll have to see what that does. That might get us into uh, some levels tomorrow for a reversal. Uh, yeah, the rest of the week should be interesting. We'll just have to see how it goes and plays by ear, but that's my thoughts. Uh, you know, looking, we had our market structure shift, so at some point I'm looking for that 6-2 fib retrace. It just depends on which one of these levels up here uh, we hit before we actually get our 4 hour pullback. So I'm going to be very cautious about longs at this point, unless we pull back down to the 5-0 into this inverted 15-minute, and then I would definitely be looking for longs from there. Uh, I'm not, this is a 4 hour fair value gap, but at some point when we do retrace after the market structure shift, we're going to be inverting some of these 4 hour gaps to get down to the levels that we need to get to for it to bounce back up. So I'm not super concerned about taking longs off of this one. I would like to take a long from here if the midline shows it holds uh, to get up into this area. But I mean, it is possible we come down, we hit this midline, and it reverses. If it does, I'll be super cautious on my longs, but could take a long from down here to get up into these areas. So that is what I think about that, and I'm going to keep this recording. I wanted this recording in the library so that when I go through these 4 hour charts, looking for draws on liquidity and price direction, um, I can look back. If it takes all the way through next week for all of this to play out, then, I can look back at this and say, yeah, I was correct in my thesis. Um, and the more often I can do that, then the better I'm going to get at finding my true draws on liquidity, my reversal points, all of that stuff, uh, and just be able to uh, have a lot more confidence in the trades that I'm taking. So that is that, folks. Uh, I probably will not put this in the Discord. Uh, but I'll let everybody in the Discord know that the video is up on my YouTube if they want to go look at it. So let's see what happens over the next few weeks. And I've identified my two areas that I'm super super interested in, which is here, uh, and then wherever we start our retrace. Uh, I'm looking for that 6.2 to 7.0 to then head higher. Uh, so right now we are stuck in between a whole lot of shit. Um, so I may, depending on what the news does tomorrow, unemployment claims, unless that actually moves the market a lot, which I'm kind of hoping it doesn't. Because again, I'd really like to see a 4-hour range start building here, uh, at least for a few candles, so that I can see some manipulation. Uh, we are bullish, so if the manipulation comes top side first and then goes down to the bottom side, um, I'll definitely be looking for that spot on the bottom side of the range for the reversal to then displace up if we can get a range built first. If not, if news just moves us into an area and then reverses to come down and find internal liquidity, or if it reverses us into internal liquidity and then bounces off of that, I'm looking for us to get up here, which may mean holding through, some pullbacks from this breaker block a little bit. So, alrighty, that's it. That's it. I'm going to stop rambling. We're at 22 minutes, so I can get this done before 25 minutes. Awesome. Trying to get shorter videos. Eventually, I might get one down to like 15 minutes, but I'm not promising nothing. All right. See everybody on the trading floor tomorrow.